And hello fellow Tanker Space Bandit here with another episode of World of Tanks, and today I present to you guys my brand new tier 10 British tank destroyer FV215b 183, aka Deathstar, or what I'd like to call it, hit and run. Yes boys, hit and run, because of the long reload, which is currently sitting at about 24 seconds for me. This tank is basically hit and run. You come out, you hit someone, and you run. Just a quick overview of this gun. So basically, if you're not using HESH shells in this tank, you're doing it wrong. HESH pen penetration is 275 millimeters, but you are able to basically one-shot people with HESH rounds, which would be unlikely with your standard round. So that's the way to go. Full HESH round loadout is strongly recommended. As far as aim time is concerned, it's not the best. You're looking at about 3.4 seconds, although Deathstar has some ridiculous armor, so you will find it bounce a lot of rounds. So basically the armor gives you opportunity to stay in one spot and aim for the 3.4 seconds, which obviously is going to be better with the cruise skills and gun performance equipment. And here you can see my Deathstar in full glory. I slapped a nice icon on it to represent the death that it's going to spread on the battlefield. Now let's take a quick look at my setup of this tank. As you can see, my crew consists of 7 perks / skills currently. Starting from the beginning is Repairs, the Sixth Sense, Brothers in Arms, Track Mechanic, Mentor, Snapshot, and Smooth Ride. Currently training Situational Awareness. As you can see, my tank is mostly optimized for gun performance at this point in time, and now I'm going to be training my view range perks in order to get it better. Same goes for the equipment. I'm currently running Gun Rammer, Enhanced Gun Laying Drive, and Vents. Now again, the purpose of this tank is, and I strongly recommend it, to take it to the choke points, because believe it or not, this tank will definitely help your team advance on the choke point, because of its damage potential and the fact that you don't really have to hit weak spots in order to cause damage, especially with HESH rounds. because anywhere you hit any tank, doesn't matter which part of the armor, you will cause damage. Now, if you know where to hit tanks and their weak spots, then you can even create more damage and more devastation with this tank. So choke points are strongly recommended, and if the map doesn't have a choke point per se, then unfortunately you are stuck to try to figure out how to snipe with this tank, which is not that bad. In reality, if you saw my clips at the beginning, this tank can actually snipe quite well. The only thing that you have to keep in mind is that you need to aim it fully before you fire the shell. Now, you will find occasional shell going berserk every once in a while, but that's RNG. It can happen to any tank. But about 90% of time, the shells actually fly through, which I was really surprised about. Now again, mind you that my crew is semi-experienced and also optimized for the gun performance as well as my equipment. So keep that in mind, guys. So I have 2 games for you guys today. Actually, I've played quite a few games in this tank over the last weekend. I think I've had about 20-30 games in it, and I did play about 20 before that as well. So I have a good sample size of this tank and what it can do. I had many, trust me, many games over 5k, and actually plenty of games where I got Mastery 1 badge, but unfortunately wasn't able to get Ace Tanker in this tank yet. So what I'm going to show you today is the highest damage game that I got so far, which is going to be first, and the second game will be more of a fun kind of a game, which got really close at the end. So I hope you guys are going to have fun with that. Now, I'm still trying to learn this tank, and I think I will get better at it with time, although I still haven't been able to put this huge monstrous game that I'm hoping for. I'm sure it will come, but it's probably going to take some time for me to get one. As far as average run, guys, yeah, this tank, you should be able to do at least 3-4k damage with this tank on your average run. If you cannot do 3 to 4k damage, that means you're doing something wrong. You're playing it a little bit too passive. I think you have to be a bit more aggressive with this tank, especially because it does have armor and it can bounce shells. Now, mobility of this tank is not bad either. It gets around, it's not the fastest, but it can go about 35 kilometers an hour, so you should be able to get to the battle wherever you need to get to. Let's put it that way. It's much quicker than a tortoise. Okay, let's jump into the game right now. As you noticed, initially I tried to go and snipe, but it looks like the opposing team didn't really contest this side of the field, so I was undecisive whether I should go back to the base and defend, whether I should continue pushing through here. And you saw me wasting a shell there on almost 0 health light tank, and that's because it was a guy from clan NFTG. I really didn't want him to run off, because when these guys are in a game, sometimes they may be problematic. So that's the reason I wasted my shell over there. Now here I get myself in a nice position, and I'm going to use this hill on the right hand side to just slightly poke out. As you can see, I'm looking for a shot on the turret of this E100, and with 2 shells we managed to just basically demolish him, take him out of the game. And exactly this tank can do this, guys. Absolutely can do it, because it does have armor to engage any tier 10 heavily armored vehicle, and you'll see later what I'm talking about. So here we can see this Martian here. It looks like our team is going to progress now. So I was looking for a weak spot shot here, was thinking Coppola, but then I realized, well, he's one shot to me regardless. If I just only splash him, I should be able to take him out of the game. That's why we hit him at the end there, and I didn't bother. As you notice on this tank, the loadout is not that great. We only have about, what, 11, 12 shells. So yeah, you gotta be careful how you use your shells, how effective you are with those shells, and try not to rush shots. Try to make sure you fully aim your shots, and be very patient. You have to be very patient with this tank. Now, as you can see, our base is getting run over, so at this point I was thinking to myself, probably the best idea would be to come up on top of the hill over here, since these guys are spilling over the middle of the map. I was thinking to get some shots across through here, but then I realized they might be actually coming around to flank us, and already few of them went through the cap. So at this point I'm not really worried that much about the cap, because as you can see there's a light tank there and a heavy tank, so I'm hoping they can decap in case there's something going on there. But at this point in time I decided to just scoot down here, because sniping is not gonna help. I probably have to engage these guys front on, head on, and try to get them out of the game. As you can see, we have Jagdpanzer E100 here, as well as T110E5, couple of dangerous tanks. So we're gonna try to dispatch of these guys here that are coming to flank us and support our defender that's sitting here on the right side. So we're gonna scoot over from behind the rock, from behind the hill over here, and we see this T110E5. We want to aim between the tracks so we make sure we penetrate him, and we do penetrate him. We take him out of the game with one shot, and that's what this tank is all about. One-shooting people to death. Now I see the Jagdpanzer E100 coming after me here, and he's a quite capable opponent. So I was backing off, but he basically shot at the defender. So now I can put a freebie into him without taking any damage. And what I'm gonna try to do is aim at his bottom plate. Unfortunately, the shell doesn't fly through, it goes high, but I still splash him for quite a bit of damage. Now all I want to do now is wiggle, make sure I try to bounce his shell, and we do manage to bounce his shell. So defender goes behind the other side of him, and he's gonna put shells into him, and Jagdpanzer E100 is focusing me, and rightly so. He should be focusing the bigger gun. Now as you can see here, I'm not taking a shot yet, and the reason for that was I really didn't want to hit his gun. It happened to me many times where you actually hit the opposing player's gun and you draw no damage. So I wasn't sure if Deathstar would do the same thing, but I wanted to make sure I don't hit the gun, and we managed to penetrate him and take him out of the game. Now as you can see, we're getting capped out now, and we have only 1 minute remaining. At this point in time, I thought to myself, I should be able to get up there, and even if I don't get up there in time, I'm hoping the defender can get up there, because he's relatively quick tank, so he can decap. At the same time, as you can see, all of our team that decided to push through the K line basically was decimated, and all of them died. Only one heavy tank over there now, and a light tank also cruising closely to the enemy's base. Unfortunately, all of them are gonna die, because last thing you want to do is push to the enemy's base circle there. And I think this kind of skewed my decision here as far as from which side I'm gonna approach the guy that's in a cap, because the opposing team won the hill over here now, and if I went to the left, I probably would have gotten up quicker on top of that hill, but because I went to the right, it took me a lot longer. Unfortunately, the defender failed to decap, which I was hoping for. So I was kind of upset about this at this point in time, because I managed to get my last shell into the tortoise, but I was still full health, mostly full health. I would be able probably to carry this game. This would have probably been an epic game if it continued, if we didn't get capped out. So as you can see, we managed to put up 6.6k damage in this game. Again, this is my highest damage game so far, but I think there's more to come. Like I mentioned to you guys before, I had many 5k plus damage games. I actually had probably 4 or 5 Mastery Class 1 games in this run, but and many of them you saw in my intro video montage that I put together at the beginning. But a lot of them were kind of we ran over the opposition kind of games, or I defended the base and I died. So you know, I just thought that the 2 games that I'm going to show you is the one with highest damage, and a really fun game which is coming up right now. So let's jump into that right away. So we are on map El Alamein. We are obviously a top tier. There's 1 artillery in play, of which we need to be really mindful of. Believe it or not, artillery has a hard-on for us. Ever since I've started playing in a Deathstar, artillery really wants to shit on my parade. So I'm really trying to choose positions which are already safe when it comes to my gameplay. Maybe because of that I'm getting a bit overcautious. I don't know. Just the other game, just a few games before that, I got blind hit and splashed for almost full health, which was quite unbelievable. The shell didn't hit me, it hit to the right side of my tank, and it basically left me with like 11 HP or something like that. So yeah, you have to be really careful about that. Maybe in the future I might consider Spall Liner for this tank, but at this point in time my crew is not experienced enough. So here I got spotted very early. I see a couple of light tanks cruising through the middle, and I was ready to just unleash on them. Now I don't know why both of them are coming together and spotting at the same time. guys, when you're in light tank, especially in a platoon, I suggest that you spread your forces so you can, you know, spot across the map, not both of you together, unless you wolf packing. I guess that's one of the options too. With tier 10 light tanks, you can wolf pack and go together so you can eliminate the enemy's light tanks at the same time. I guess maybe that's what they were trying to do here. So early in the game I came to this position here, which is J3. As you can see, it has a nice cover here from artillery, so I don't have to worry about that. And this is a nice, well, actually this is a regular brawling spot on this side of the map. So I decided not to progress any further, although I see our Object 140 going balls deep over there. And I'm thinking, okay, I hope he's a capable player, because he's not spotting anything right now. And if he engages these people, I hope he's not gonna lose much health. But I saw him took a huge hit right there, and I'm like, what is he doing? Does he know what he's doing? Does he not know what he's doing? But, you know, the opposition is not advancing that far, so I'm basically saying to my team, let's attack. I'm hoping that these tank destroyers that are at K5, and the other guy actually started dropping instead of coming this way. He's currently at K7. I thought they would help us, but they didn't even show up, so our Object 140 is getting outnumbered right here. I'm hoping just to take one gun out of the game. Unfortunately, I fluffed my shot. The shell goes high. That's why you fully aim shots on the Deathstar, because if you don't, this is what happens most of the time. So unfortunately, our object gets taken out. Tier 10 medium, very important tier 10 medium out of the game early. And I'm in a bad position now, because all of my team died that was pushing here, and I'm the only one remaining. So one thing on my mind right now is, I gotta get back. I gotta get the hell out of here as quickly as possible. And although Deathstar is not the quickest tank out there, it can move. It can move. So it gives me ability to move out of there as quickly as possible. I do get spotted in the process, but hopefully, I was thinking, please don't shoot me in the ass. And I didn't get shot, and now I'm in a safe spot again, and I don't have to worry about these guys no more. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn around and face them and see if they're gonna be coming this way. And if they're coming, we're gonna unleash the fury on them. So first thing, we're gonna poke out and try to spot. Can't spot anybody here. As you can see, our team is losing pretty badly. It's 3-7 right now. We're gonna spot the right, and look at this shot. This is not a fully aimed shot, but I had no choice. I had to unleash it. And the shell flies through. It takes out the Polish heavy tank. Oh, bad game for this guy. Unfortunately, it happens from time to time, guys. I mean, Deathstar is Deathstar. I got shot so many times by Deathstar. You wouldn't believe it. So it's time to get my revenge now. Anyway, so we see this light tank scooting through the middle of the field. And I was pretty confident we can take him out, but again, we didn't aim the shot fully. And the shell just went nowhere. Just hit the ground. So that was a bit frustrating. And we lose another tank in the process. At this point, I wasn't expecting a lot. I was just basically hoping that I can hold this corner with my tank destroyer that's behind me. And that's all we can do at this point in time. Make sure that we get rid of the reds that are coming through here. I see a Deathstar on the right hand side here. He's aiming at me. I'm aiming at him. He didn't fully aim. I didn't fully aim. So that was the result. But the shots you don't take, guys, you don't hit. So I know you're gonna waste a lot of money with these shells, but at this point in time, because my team was losing so badly, I didn't really care. I'm like, at least I'm gonna get some damage before I die. But things are gonna turn around. Take a look at this now. There are only 3 tanks remaining on our team. By the way, I get shot in the ass right here. This guy thinks that he has a big gun, but let me show you what the big gun looks like, buddy. He doesn't expect the mobility of the Deathstar, and his mobility is not the greatest. So here, I give you my return shot. How about that? We take him out of the game. The artillery misses, and now King Dragon is feeling brave. He's pushing hard, and I was like, okay, that's it. This is the death of me. I saw a Deathstar coming at me, but for whatever reason, Deathstar is not even paying attention to me. He's trying to hit the other tank destroyer, so I try to ram him. I take him out of the game. I prioritize the Deathstar because that's the bigger gun, At this point I wasn't sure if I made the right decision because I knew King Dragon could easily take me out of the game. But I hide behind the wreck of a Deathstar here, got a little disoriented, but King Dragon puts a shell into me. Got a little lucky here that he doesn't take me out of the game. So can we put a shell into him? We're almost done with the reload. Yes, and we take him out. And all of a sudden the game is tied. I'm not sure how this turned out to be, but the tank destroyer that was behind me he played a pivotal role. He put a shell into this King Dragon. He was distracting the Deathstar from hitting me, and then unfortunately he gets taken out by the artillery. So I've noticed our base capture sound going off for a split second there. So I was pretty sure that the light tank of the opposing team was going to cap us, but all of a sudden he just ran through our base. So initially I was going to go back to our base and try to engage him, but at this point that he got off the base, I don't know where he is now, so I didn't know what to think. At the same time, tank destroyer on our team takes out the artillery of the opposing team, so all of a sudden we're winning this game. But here I get spotted. I'm like, what's going on? Where's this guy? Where is he spotting me from? It must be the middle of the map, because there's no way he's behind me. He's got to be in front of me. So at this point I have to make a decision. Is he gonna, I know he's gonna come after me. Is he gonna come after me from the front, or is he gonna come after me from behind? So as you can see, I keep my front to the left side, but started turning here, but unfortunately I started turning too late, and he comes over the hill and takes me out of the game. So we come down to 1v1 situation, and at this point, guys, honestly, light tank has a big advantage, especially on a big map like this. But I noticed that our tank destroyer is full health, and it's not just any tank destroyer, it is the Badger, so he's got a lot of HP to chew through. Now if this light tank is smart, what he should do is take his time, use his view range to outspot the Badger and put shots here and there into him and basically clean up. Take care of this game. And the Badger is doing the right thing. He's going to sit in a cap. He needs to draw the light tank into him in order to engage him. There's no point chasing the light tank around on a big map like this. As you can see, the Badger is spotted now. And this is the mistake that the Sheridan made. Why would he do that? That made no sense whatsoever. I know what he was trying to do. He was probably trying to engage the Badger from close distance, go around him. But why not use your view range? I know you'll be facing the Badger frontally, but you can always change angles. Go to the left side, then go back to the right side, decap, and take your time. And you would be able to easily take out the Badger. Now, as I told you guys, it wasn't anything spectacular as far as the game is concerned. We did only 3.8k damage. We lost credits, which is quite normal. You're gonna lose credits in this tank, so keep that in mind. What I usually do is I try to play Deathstar and then also play some premium tank at the same time to make credits back. So if I lose a lot of credits in a Deathstar, I can make it right back with a premium tank. And I kind of swap back and forth. And this seems to work. And that way I don't lose much credits. I maintain the same credit status. But I thought I would show you an average game, guys, because that's something you're going to see normally with this tank. Although this one was a little bit extra special because it came down to the wire. I'm sure at some point I'm going to get you a much better game in this tank. And I can see already 8k, 9k damage within distance. It will come eventually, I know it for a fact. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Go check out CloneGuy72 and Garadeni. That's it for today. Until next time, happy tanking, Space Bandit checking out.